Welcome, welcome. We are going to discuss day one, system baseline definition. So these are the actual warm ups. I have it broken up in two chunks of 100, so it's 200 total. And as you can see, day one is system baseline definition. And the grade level this is for is 9th through 12th. And the reason being is because if you look at all of the warm ups in totality, there's a reason why that range makes the most sense, at least in my opinion. If you have some middle schoolers you feel like some of this might apply to, go for it. Why not? But it says that it is 9th and 12th. Doesn't have to be. You know, you do what works for you. And you'll probably hear that or some variation of that as I talk through these warm ups. So the subject area is ELA. That will change depending on what is the warm up, what the task is. And the 15 minutes is just kind of like a rough guesstimate. It's like what we would like to stick to. But if you want to extend it, I think these warm ups are easy to extend. I don't know if they're easy to shorten, but they're easy to extend. And I'm pretty sure, being in education, there's some crafty people that could probably figure it out. Like, hey, we've got 5 minutes to get it. I don't know. Well, you do you, whatever works for you, regardless. So Minnesota State Standard Alignment, that's what I went for because I am based out of Minnesota. But you can change this to whatever standard or state you want to. That is absolutely fine. If you want help with that, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to do the homework. I believe in collaboration, and so I would love to collaborate on that or anything else. But for this one in particular, it is determine word meaning and text comprehension. AI guidance level is a 0, so no AI use. Work must be completed entirely without assistance in a controlled environment. And if I was presenting this warm up, I would have everything here visible for the students except for the definition, unless I intentionally wanted to do so to save time or whatever the case may be. But I would also make sure the students are understanding each section of this. So my first warm up would definitely be a little lengthier than 15 minutes because I want to make sure that they understand all parts of the warm ups and they get into a groove as we go, because that makes sense for continuity and building up those expectations in the classroom. So AI guidance, level 1, this is going to be the norm for a while. For a while, the students aren't expected to go through level 1, 2, or 3, not right away. They're going to ease into it, which is what I love, especially for those teachers that may be tasked with doing an AI literacy class and might not be a huge fan of students using AI. And that may sound crazy, but if you're voluntold to do something, then maybe this is the best way to do it. If you are like, I'm not a fan, but I have to do this because I was told to. So, oh, look, I can start at level 0 and then I can get comfortable with level 1. Oh, this has helped me get comfortable with level 2, and so forth and so on. Okay, so M.A.Z.E focus. And if you don't know what the M.A.Z.E focus is, there is a video that you can go and look at. It's the first playlist of the daily warm-ups, and it'll explain this. But I feel like you folks are on the level, and this will make a lot of sense. So this one, as you can see, the X is by evaluate value. Does using AI enhance or replace original critical thinking? Again, all of this stuff I would explain to students, so when I get to that part, they would understand it. The cool thing is, as you go, your students can actually say what these different parts mean. And they can even try to brainstorm and stuff. So that's how this 15 minutes can grow if you have more student involvement with those areas. So looking at the actual warm-up, there's 3 phases. The times are more or less the same because the task tends to take a little bit longer. And as you can see, you're going to teach Tier 3 word system baseline. I don't think this was really a Tier 3 word, but system baseline is what you're going to teach. And I have a little cheat sheet here at the bottom, a little section here. In AI, a system baseline refers to a starting reference point used to evaluate a model's performance, behavior, or configuration. It serves as a foundational benchmark to measure improvements, detect system drift, or guarantee minimum safety standards. So, you do not have to post this unless you feel it is appropriate for your classroom. You can have the students look for the answer without using AI, or you can give them the answer and then ask them to explain what it means before they write the paragraph. So when it says unassisted, you break it down, system, baseline, and maybe help them there, put the two together. What do you think this means? And so then they come up with their version of what it means, or you help them do it, however you like to do it in your classroom. But there's really to get the students thinking. The whole point of these warm-ups, even the ones with level 3 usage for students in AI, is to get them to think critically as they are learning what AI means. So, one of my favorite things that I always do when I was teaching in the classroom is to have students try to guess as much as they can based on whatever information that they know. For example, there are a lot of definitions in these warm-ups, and I wouldn't write them all out. Just maybe that morning, write system baseline. Have 3 columns up on a wall. This is how I would do it. You can do it however works for you. And so what I loved to do was I'd have a section that says, don't know it, kind of know it, and teach it. And so I would raise up a card that says system baseline on it. I was like, all right, class, system baseline. Raise your hand if you don't know it. And if they don't know it, they'd raise their hand. Raise your hand if you kind of know it. And then they would raise their hand for that. And then I'd say, raise your hand if you can teach it. And whoever feels like they could teach the word would raise their hand there. And based on the majority of the hands that I see in the classroom, I'd have tape on the back of it and I would slap it on the wall. And this was a brick wall, so I didn't have to worry about damaging it, or it was a lot of fun. So I made it a big deal. It was a whole arm movement and everything. So, and then I would have it there. The whole thing is at some point you can revisit these words. So if they're not under teach it and they're under don't know it or kind of know it, then you can shift it to the section that is most appropriate for the group as they grow. And just adds a little layer of fun if you're about that. If not, or you have a better idea, then, go for that. But these are different things that you can do in your classroom just to kind of like enhance the experience and pull them in a little bit more. I know high schoolers try to pretend like they're super cool and they're knocking on the door of adulthood, and true enough, they are. But they're still kids at heart, So just an idea. Just want to throw that out there. So you have them. You teach the word system baseline, unassisted paragraph defining thinking, and highlight verbs that computers cannot organically execute. And so they may need some assistance with that. And some of these things could take a little bit longer, but you roughly want to try to keep it to 15 minutes. I would also have a journal for all of these warm-ups, because I think that them being able to keep track of it and have that physical piece of paper or physical document of their progress through the warm-ups would be good to refer to as you go forward. So then also for accessibility, IEP, and 504 accommodations and considerations, determinism is a word that I think can help with this. So pre-teach the word determinism with graphic sentence starters. If you want to swap it and pre-teach the word system baseline, then that works too. Some of these accommodations, I feel, as you go through the warm-ups, might seem a little bit much. So again, use your expertise, adjust as you feel you need to, or feel free to reach out to me. Again, happy to collaborate, and that is what I feel like I am here for. So that is it for day 1. We'll come back with day 2. Should take less to go over because I have explained a lot of the basics of the warm-ups today. And if you have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to do so below. Or if you're thinking this is something that could really, really work out for you, don't be shy and subscribe. That's it for today. This is Steve Brown Jr. signing off.